It's so hot in here. I need to play something to take my mind off the heat. Nope, none of you. How about some Sonic ROM hacks? That might do the trick. Sonic Winter Adventures. That would definitely help. I wonder if that will work on real hardware.
Wait, you can't play that.
Oh, why not?
Because you already text reviewed this in 2013 and you were fairly negative about it.
Yeah, but that was like 8 years ago. I was dumb and immature back then.
And how are you any different now?
Well, you're not going to be wanting this then, are you? Sonic Winter Adventures. It's a Sonic ROM hack released for the Sonic Hacking Contest 2013 by Vladicompa. Yes, I realise we've done one of his recently, but cool it. I had another hardware video in mind that would have been the very first non-Sonic episode, but it's Sonic's 30th in a few days, so I quickly whipped this up instead. While this title only consists of 4 acts, well, 5 technically, it does implement a feature that I never knew I wanted in my life. But it comes with its complications. That special attraction and the game itself behaves well via emulation, but does it work on real hardware? As always, I'll be mixing up the systems and flashcards as we go along, but I decided to start with my Genesis Model 1 and pair it up with the Mega EverDrive Pro. We begin with a nice Sega spin, an old SSRG splash screen, and a no signal message. Hey, where's the picture gone? What's going on? Oh, it's back. Whew. That's alright there. What the heck? So, it turns out when the game performs this fancy bouncy animation, the Mega Drive is outputting in 256... Oh, for goodness sake. I've already explained how these display modes work in the previous video, so I'm not going to waste too much time here. But the gist of it is, the pre-titled displays in the 256 mode for this graphical effect, but the rest of the hack remains in the familiar 320 pixels wide. Switching between the 2 resolutions works great on analog connections, but it can wreak havoc with scalers and line doublers. That was up until the recently announced the RetroTink 5X. I'm not reviewing the device here because that's a story for another day, but this will fix that issue at an inconceivable amount of latency. And yes, it works on Sonic 1 Blastless. But I digress. This adjustment only happens once, so I don't hate it as much this time around. But enough of the technical talk. We're here to see some chilling footage. Oh, it's so hot in here. And everything you see here, we've seen before. Ice caps, icebergs, and green hills foreground being frozen solid. Considering that we're given the impression that the whole map has iced over, Sonic has the same traction he's always had. I appreciate the snowflakes that constantly descend, but it's a contributing factor towards the slowdown, and good gravy, can it get bad at times. It's probably not helped when the badniks get crammed into the screen estate all at once, but at least you have the homing attack to solve that problem. Even if I did go a little crazy with it at times. Nonetheless, I couldn't help it with the number of springs and boosters that had been planted everywhere. A lot of the time, I felt I wasn't in control of my journey and was being forced to take a particular path. Still, it did give me some thrills with the speed I was gaining, and isn't that what Sonic is all about? At any rate, it never put me in danger's way. It got me stuck a few times, but I was able to spam my way out. And you have to stay fast, otherwise you'll discover overlooked problems. Like, have you ever wanted to slow down in life, take a stroll on your own, to smell the beautiful flowers? Well, tough fudge, because they've all had their heads ripped off. It's just weird that I noticed these things the slower I went. Yet, one aspect you do have to take your time on for are the bosses. Well, at least figuring out when to attack the blimmin' losers. This dancing wrecking ball only shows its reticle when it's completely motionless and not shooting at you. Oh, and you're in the air. Stand next to it when it can take a beating, and you wouldn't be any of the wiser. I mean, I understand what they were going for. The target is to home on, but it never, ever appears for anything else in the whole escapade. So it's a bit inconsistent. And this copycat is just as unpredictable. He jumps around all over the place like he's high on flippin' sugar and never stops moving. It took me a while to conclude that he must be smacked when there's no image trail behind him. The Eggman fight, however, I have no snags with. That's a challenging boss in my mind. In fact, there's a lot of positives that I haven't discussed yet. The second level, which comprises of only one act, has an amazing lava rise gimmick. And I say amazing because the background still scrolls in all directions. Not to mention that the revised marble art really looks the part. The whole soundtrack to the game complements each stage too, albeit they're mostly borrowed from other games, especially from the Mega Man franchise, but more on that later. Finishing the game reveals a new menu where you can compete in 6 missions. They're all pretty standard tasks, and the 6th mission shows an Encore-style Spring Yard zone. Complete them all, and that means you've collected all of the Chaos Emeralds and can transform into Super Sonic, which makes the whole game even more overpowering. But I still had a blast. So that's it for Sonic Winter Adventures. Well, from the Mega Drive's perspective, what happens though when you connect one of these babies? Attach a MegaCD or a Sega CD to your primary driver, and before the game boots up, you unlock some gameplay enchantments. Woo! On a more serious note, with this add-on, the disc tray will open up automatically on the title screen, if it's capable of doing that obviously, and you can insert any audio CD. And bingo! You're now provided custom crystal clear music in place of Sonic Winter Adventures soundtrack. Why doesn't every Sonic ROM hack have this ability? This is incredible! I cried with laughter when From Russia with Love played in Frozen Island Act 2. Seeming as this game was courtesy of a Russian hacker, you can put any audio CD and it'll just play. Or you can write a disc with the music files that came with the game, but beware, it's more Mega Man from a remastered source, or create your own mix. Now, Vladicompa warned me that a proper audio CD should be used and not to try anything with game data on it, such as Sonic CD. But screw that request because I went to try all 3 versions I had. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So here we are at the title screen. Whoa! Alright, for realsies, the hack essentially plays the tracks just fine, with the exception of track 1, which produces nothing. I was expecting some harsh noise to blast out and grate my ears, but to my surprise, you'll only get pure silence. Now, I would love to call it a day, but unfortunately, I encountered a huge crash that can occur depending on your choice of hardware. If you're in possession of a Model 2 system, then you don't have to fret over this. But if you have a Model 1, an issue could arise. While my PAL Tower of Power handled everything just fine, my Japanese variant was not having any of it. No, honestly, it wouldn't even boot the game, even after a soft reset. At first, I thought it was just the 32X corrupting it, but even without that, I get zilch. However, when I detach the Mega CD from the Mega Drive, the game now begins, without the fresh music feature, of course. I reached out to Twitter to see if anyone else could assist me, and Simon Locke, the very same guy who helped me clean and restored some of my consoles, ran into an interesting issue. He has 2 Japanese Mega Drives and 1 Mega CD. The VA6 revision of the 16-bit hardware actually works, but the VA5 results in the same conclusion as mine. Simon also confirmed that it did not work on his laser active, but resetting the game would start it, yet without any CD detection. But he got good results on his Wonder Mega. So is it a regional issue or a revisional matter? Or is the BIOS the culprit? It worked fine on my Japanese Model 2, oddly enough, and the same for my USA Model 2. Neither of us had a Sega CD Model 1, but Corey from My Life in Gaming came to the rescue to answer that question, and made things more confusing. On his revision, the game initiated with no issues and was able to play back CD audio. At the end of the day, the worst that'll happen is that Sonic Winter Adventures may fail to start when powering up. And if you're one of the rare ones to come across this bug, then simply power off, slide the Mega Drive off, and turn it back on. You won't have the opportunity to upgrade the music, but at least the game itself will start and play. All things considered, does Sonic Winter Adventures work on real hardware? I'll be ranking this a yes. I may have given some mixed messages in this video, but I did have a good time analysing Sonic Winter Adventures. I mean, anything with this blue blur is great. And I can't believe you're turning 30 soon. You're the oldest gamer mascot I know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, okay, I haven't forgotten about you. You're next.